Welcome to the Magento Pulse on Talk Commerce. I'm your host, Brent Peterson. In this special series of episodes, we bring you stories of the people from the Magento community, as well as the fantastic Magento events like Meet Magento New York, happening October 10th, 2024. For more information, go to meetmagentoNYC.com. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Content in Commerce from ContentBasis.io. Discover how your content can build free traffic for your e-commerce store by visiting ContentBasis.io. Stay tuned as we dive into the latest in the world of Magento. For more information about Meet Magentos, click on the QR code in the video or go to tlk.fm/mm24nyc. Thank you. Welcome to this special edition of the Magento version of Talk Commerce. Today I have Ravi Mittal. He is with Rave Digital, Headworks, and he has been putting on Meet Magento Florida for the last couple of years, which has been such a fantastic event. Almost like Magento Imagine, just in a different, well, actually just like Magento Imagine, maybe not as hot during the summer. Ravi, go ahead, do an introduction for yourself. Tell us your day-to-day role and one of your passions.
Absolutely. So I run and operate two companies, Rave Digital, which is a services company, and we specifically focus on Magento Adobe Commerce Platform. I still like to call it Magento because that's my love and passion, and that's why we haven't resorted to another platform for agency services. So we're purely a Magento agency. We started in 2008 after I left IBM. Started with a regular web dev shop and agency, but we pivoted specifically into e-commerce using Magento platform. Then another company that I run is Headworks, which is extension building company in Magento. We have 57 extensions. We have won 4 awards for our extensions. That is a company that is also 15 years old, and they've been building extensions, quality extensions for 15 years. But we acquired that in 2019. So now we are a one-stop shop where we can service merchants using Magento platform, and we can leverage our product and services, vice versa. We can give them products, and if we have any experience from our services and deliveries, then we can update our products based on what merchants need. So it's a one-stop shop, and it's very uniquely positioned. That's kind of why us. We are the only agency which has equally strong services and product line.
Yeah, and I've been a long time user of Headworks, and I've very much enjoyed the extensions over all these years. And I didn't realize that you had started in Magento such a long time ago, longer than myself even. Before we go, I'm sorry, we forgot about the passion. What do you have for passions in life? What do you do? You're in South Florida, so
Yeah, outside of work.
yeah.
Outside of work, I play golf. I love tennis. US Open is going on right now, and we had, I follow tennis. So Alcaraz is out in round 2, and I think Naomi Osaka is also out. So, it's a pretty interesting game. That's a sport I follow, and I play golf. Those are my passions.
That's great. All right, before we get started, I'm going to tell you a joke. It's part of the free joke project. All you have to do is give me a rating 1 through 5. And I know that you're probably younger than me, but I think I have a joke that'll at least target our age bracket.
Yeah.
So here we go. If anybody wants to know why Gen X is always mad, it's because we had to replace our record collections with tape collections. Then we had to replace our CD collections, and then we had to replace our MP3 collections, and now we need a subscription to listen to music.
Yeah, absolutely. It has changed. It has come a long way. It has absolutely. And then most of the younger Gen X people won't even know what a cassette is. Won't even know how to record over the cassettes.
Yeah.
I would have a small cassette player where, we wouldn't have money, so we would record the new songs all over again and again and again and again. So yeah, that's something probably people cannot associate with, younger people cannot associate with. Yes, definitely. So if you rate it on a scale of what, 1 to 5, it's 4. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, to think about it. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Ravi. Hey there, Talk Commerce listeners. It's Brent Peterson, and I have something exciting to share with you today. Are you a developer drowning in complex cloud deployments? Well, I've discovered a game changer that's about to make your life a whole lot easier. Say hello to Cloudzilla. Now, I know what you're thinking, another cloud platform. But trust me, Cloudzilla isn't just another player in the game, it's a whole new ballpark. We're talking super cloud territory here, folks. Let me break it down for you. Imagine deploying across AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud with just one click. Picture automated CI/CD that's so smooth, it feels like cheating. All of this wrapped up in an interface so intuitive, you'll wonder if it's reading your mind. Now, I've seen a lot of tools come and go, but Cloudzilla, it's real. And let me tell you, I've been using it for more than a month now, and I love it. David and Goliath, that's old news. This is you versus the entire tech giant army. And you're winning. Here's what I want you to do right now. Head over to cloudzilla.ai and sign up for a free trial. I promise you it'll be the best decision you make this week. You won't even have to put a credit card in. Cloudzilla, because in the cloud, it's not just the size of the team in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the team. Try it today. All right, so let's, you kind of have the perfect trifecta now. You have a services company in Rave Digital, you have a product company in Headworks, and now you're doing this fantastic conference called Meet Magento Florida. Tell us kind of the motivation behind that, and that was a big undertaking, and you took it on after the pandemic and sort of right as conferences were starting again.
Yeah, it's starting again. But after the pandemic, there was a period. I mean, during pandemic, it was all boom. Everybody was hiring, everybody was traveling, not traveling, but everybody was spending money. But post-pandemic, when we started, we did the first year of the conference. All of a sudden, companies started doing cost cutting, and there was TNL freeze. So we started traveling again, and then we stopped, and there was TNL freeze. So it was challenging year to start in, but we pulled, and we did it in 3 months. So we pulled it off in 3 months. We started late, but we were able to pull it off, and we did a pretty good job, I would like to say. Yeah.
Yeah. So what? And you picked the Hard Rock in Seminole, the Seminole Hard Rock in.
Yeah. See, okay, so whoever is in the Magento ecosystem definitely can resonate with me. We all miss Magento Imagine, right? So when I went first time, 2019 was the last Magento Imagine, if I remember it correctly. We were exhibiting there. It was in Win Encore. It was a great conference. Loved it. Magento Man was there in orange. And it was a good community conference, and a lot of learning, a lot of value, a lot of education, and at the same time, a lot of fun. Um, with Adobe, everything, when I went to Adobe Summit, the first time after pandemic, everything was diluted. We participated as a sponsor in the virtual conference that they did post pandemic, and then in person as well. We exhibited both as Headworks and Rave, but we did not feel the same kind of vibe and wasn't loving it. And I would hear all the time Magento Imagine was so great. And then came the idea of hosting Meet Magento Florida. Um, was wrong time. My director of marketing, Nicole, very well, she was completely against it. Many people advised me against it, and that wasn't the first time in my life people have advised me. People advised me against acquiring Headworks as well, right? My board of directors. So, but I had this gut feeling about it that I wanted to. First of all, I enjoy doing these things. So, if you have seen me organizing these things, I don't see it as a work. I don't see it as a business play. If you don't enjoy doing this thing, you cannot put up a good show. So I enjoy doing that kind of thing, and I enjoy organizing things. And I did something like that back in the college when we were organizing festivals and things of nature, and I loved it. Right, so it gives me joy. So that's the main reason to do it. To be honest, that's the main reason to do it, because I wanted to have the same kind of feeling that I had, same kind of joy that I had Magento Imagine 2019. I wanted to bring that back. So that's the reason.
Yeah, that is such a great reason is to do it for the joy. And I can speak from some experience of having put on a lot of different conferences in different parts of the world, and you have to have
Yeah,
some kind of energy, and you have to have some drive to do that. And it isn't monetary at all. You can't go into this thinking I'm going to make, like, we're not conference organizers, so we don't
yeah,
organize the conference to make money. We organize the conference for the community. And again, I really appreciate what you said about that joy.
yeah,
One other thing that that I really liked about what you do at Meet Magento Florida is that you not only organize the conference, but you do a lot of extracurricular activities that
yes,
help people to enjoy themselves
yeah.
while they're in Southern Florida. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, you are the inspiration for that, right? So in 2019, when I did attend, if I remember the years correctly, again, we are getting the age where probably, or numbers and years in our head, probably can get a little blurred. But I remember I was, and I have a picture on in front of that Las Vegas sign as well, where you organize a run. And I got up in the morning being up and about, I'm a late nighter, right? So, um, I was up in the morning for the run and I enjoyed it. So, organizing those kind of things, that just gives a fuller experience, for the conference. And that is what is probably is needed. Each component in the conference and the components around it are very critical and important to the success of the conference and giving a fuller experience to people. So yes, we did excursions. Historically, I think Meet Magento, is a one-day conference. But we knew that if somebody is to come to South Florida and travel all the way, right, then it cannot be a day conference. It has to be a 2-day conference. So we started with 1.5 day. And another thing that I find that is probably an ongoing trend is that the sponsors spend the money, which I did as well at Adobe Summit and all, and we don't get an ROI, and we cannot justify sponsoring a conference, right? So the conference is structured with certain components to make sure that the sponsors get value out of it. Like we did meeting validations so that we don't give away free tickets. You have to give love to our sponsors, give them 10-15 minutes. That's it. At the expo hall, at the meeting only area, and then you get a meeting validation. If you collect 5 of them, then you get free ticket. The whole intent behind that was to giving value to our sponsors, making sure that they get the meetings, because if they're dropping 10, 15, $20,000, they need to get value out of it. We also, on the day one, we wanted to do half a day sponsor only, like expo hall only kind of area where people can just hang out. And that's why we host happy hour there, because good conversations to me happen over a drink. um, so if they have a good drink and they have appetizers and charcuterie board, and then they are hanging out in the expo hall only, then that brings more value to our sponsor. That's the intent and structure behind it. So we had to definitely pivot and think about how can I, give more value to not just the sponsors, and it is just, it's a yin and yang. If the sponsors are finding ROI, they will invite people, the attendees will be there, merchant will have more value, the SIs will also find more value in there. So all three segments of people that attend this conference will find more value in the conference. That was the intent behind it. Last year we added excursions. So excursions would happen on the day 3, where we had trip to Everglades or walking tour of Wynwood, and we had a beach day where people can be jet ski and hang out. So we had those excursions just because these conferences happen on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday is a blank day. People end up staying in South Florida when they're traveling all the way, escaping the cold, excruciating cold in the rest part of the world. So when they come there, they probably will be hanging out a day or two more in South Florida. So we wanted to pre-plan and arrange certain things for them to happen.
Yeah, one thing I can say for sponsors, like for the ROI part of that, the excursions and the other activities are so important because you as a sponsor should attend those, because those are the times when people aren't expecting a sales pitch, but you can
Yes.
talk about what you do naturally, and you can. I think the best parts of these conferences are the conversations you have that aren't in front of the expo hall and they don't feel like they're being sold to, but they're learning about the solution that you as a sponsor have. And those, especially for the run, people would come that when we did the run at Magento Imagine, they would come and the sponsors would show up, and then people would have conversations about, oh, my solution does this for email or does this for
Yep.
marketing, and that you get to learn a little bit about the person, and that personal side of it is what really sells that particular product or service that the sponsors are doing. Um,
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, gone are those days where you can be very salesy and get done with the business and stuff like that. Gone are those days where I have always felt like you throw a huge, large party which is not targeted and segmented, and in the name of branding, it would make sense. So there are times are changing, and we need to just definitely think about those things. I'm a small business owner still, right? So when I spend my dollars and money, right, and I go to these conferences, I'm like, oh my God, like it's getting expensive with P&L and everything. I definitely feel the pain, right? Um, and I'm not saying that it's for all, right? I mean, if you're a large product company, you have to do things in the name of branding and everything. But these conferences, we have a lot of agencies, a lot of smaller companies. They come and attend the conference along with bigger companies, right? So we have to think about them as well, because sponsorship game is getting too expensive, too expensive for small to mid-sized businesses.
Yeah, and for we switch a little bit to content. I think that you have great content around education, around the business track. So there's content for developers, there's content
Yes.
for merchants, there's content really there for everybody. And I think the only problem is that you can't see everything all at once
Yes.
because there's so much to do and so much to see. I think tell us a little bit about how you kind of choose some of that those talks and why would I think
Yeah.
especially why would a merchant attend?
Yes, absolutely. So when we have all these submissions, so first of all, definitely we encourage people to come and submit their talks, and we need to have talks from all walks of life. Whether it is a tech vendor talking about the solution that they are passionate about, which is tax compliance or shipping, or whether it is a SI who is doing an amazing job supporting the merchant, or whether the merchant themselves they're trying to grow their revenue or increase efficiency in their bottom line. So whatever the case may be, right? Once the submissions are received, include and by the way, all these positions are volunteer positions, right? So we are not for profit. We are not doing this for profit. The people who are associated with it. So it's not our event. You were there as a part of the panel, and you contributed with your time, and so as you have seen, other people have. So the selection is done purely by panel, and these panels are from different companies and they have their own skills, right? Like for business track, there will be a different set of people, and for technical, there will be a different set of people, and they contribute their time and they do the selection of these talks. We just need to make sure that we cover all areas, right? For example, AI is picking up, right? So how can I use AI to write Magento code, right? And take you 80%, 90% there. So there was a talk on that. For big enterprise world, uh, e-commerce is not in silo. So there are many back office solutions and there are integration with that. So how can you monitor all the API? So that there was a talk on that. So you have to have all kind of conversations covered, all kind of topics covered. In addition to that, there are some bigger topics around diversity and inclusion, DI, around in general for go green, kind of thing. So we have had topics around that. We had women in e-commerce session. We had how can we be more conscious as a hosting provider to offset the carbon emission. So there are those bigger topics as well. So it has to be very well-rounded conference, and there has to be content for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, I would always encourage any merchant, even if they're not on Magento, they should attend the conference because they can learn so much about what's happening in the industry. And I think the unique thing about Magento conference is that everything that's happening within Magento isn't in this kind of guardrailed system like, say,
Yep.
Shopify. you can literally do anything you want in Magento. So that means those solutions are out there, are something that you, if you're a merchant, you're running another platform, you can see those solutions that you could try to implement in yours. And hey, if it doesn't work, maybe you should think about switching to Adobe Commerce or
Yeah,
Magento.
absolutely, absolutely. And see, that's the beauty of Magento is that it is a very robust system. It has the most flexible system, right? So, for internationalization, for multiple web properties, for B2B implementation, for customization, and it is I call it, it's a rent versus lease play, right? So, lease versus, sorry, buying and owning it, right? So, for example, you're in an industry vertical and Shopify does not like you and they shut you down, right? You're done, right? I mean, you're leasing that system. You don't own it. Versus, let's say, if you don't like a hosting provider or something goes wrong with DevOps or your site is down, you can take that Magento instance and then you can go somewhere else, right? So you own that piece, right? Now, whenever you own a house, right, it comes with some extra, like you have to do your own landscape and this and that. So it comes with some maintenance service, but that's the offset, right? That's the price that you pay for owning it versus renting it or leasing it.
Yeah, and it has now become much better. Like I think Adobe has done a good job of slimming down the core, so there isn't like these big heavy lifts on keeping patches and updates. And you're exactly right. You own that code, and that's yours. You can take it wherever you want. You own the customers. And I think one important thing that people don't realize that happens in Shopify is all that data gets shared amongst everybody else. So if
Yep.
you're a really big player, you are helping the smaller players in a way to optimize their stores, because Shopify is going to use all that data to help everybody else optimize your stores. So
Yep.
uh,
Yep. Yep.
where you own that data on Magento.
Yep. There is also cannibalization that happens like with any of these platforms, right? Like when you buy on Amazon, then Amazon can look at they have data, they have analytics, so they can come up with their own Amazon products, right? And they cannibalize the ecosystem. Same thing with Shopify. When Shopify is looking at the apps, right? And because they're in so much of control, they add to their roadmap products and apps that are very commonly used, and because they have the visibility for it, right? So it does cannibalize the ecosystem a little bit more. So I'm a big proponent of open source and I'm a big proponent of free market. So um, and I do understand that people need to make money, and that's why I love commercial open source. Like back in the day, there was SourceForge and OS Commerce, and there was no monetization game. There was no uh, that kind of model doesn't work for corporations that are looking for support and those kind of things. So I love Magento ecosystem, how they position. There is a free product for people who don't want to pay for it, and there's a paid version of it that can afford to pay for it. And you own it versus you lease it and rent it. You're in control of your own destiny.
Yeah, the last comment I'll make about the conference is that it is incredibly welcoming. No matter where you come from or no matter what platform you're on, you will be welcomed at the conference. There's
Yes.
not a snooty version of clicks, as we say in the US, where nobody wants to talk to you because you're on a Shopify store, you're on a big commerce store. You will absolutely be welcomed into that community. You will be treated as an equal, and you will learn something.
Yep. Yep. Then we have our guy, Ben Marks, who is John Shopware, and he did not fall sick. He was attending conference. Like so, Shopware is welcome. Shopify merchants are welcome. If you think about it, 80% of the content that is going to be there, right? They are they are not specific to Magento. Like if you're talking about tax compliance or marketing automation or API monitoring, all of those apply to any platform, by the way, right? So I think there is definitely value for other people in e-commerce space to attend and join and get some nuggets out of this conference and take back home and apply it to their businesses. Yes.
I want to shift gears a little bit towards the end here and just talk about the Magento Association. So, Magento Association is what helps support all the Meet Magentos now across the world. Um, Tell us a little bit about why somebody should join the Magento Association.
Um, Association keeps that balance, right? Association keeps that balance in our ecosystem. So association is very much responsible for making sure that our open source product, which is free and which I think at least a couple of 100,000 merchants are using it, and that is supported. There is a effort and ongoing concerted effort with Adobe that is going on. Adobe is supporting that association as well, but there is a little bit of negotiation that, okay, will this feature be released to open source or not? And association puts that in check, right? That's one of the most important thing. Um, Second thing is that there are definitely some fringe benefits associated with being a member of association, like getting coupons and discount. But that's not the only reason. That's not the main reason to join the association. Association gives you much more visibility into open source world and arena where people are contributing to the open source roadmap, and it is ensuring that open source stays alive. Right. That's the main reason. Open source needs to stay alive for the sake of so many people, uh, who are devs and their jobs and livelihood are associated with it, the product that is being used by merchants, the agencies that are running businesses. So it is a very important thing for us to keep Magento open source alive, and offering that is technically free alive, right? And uh, that is of value to so many people.
Yeah, I think I had a chance to log back into my old Magento forum account, and I think there's still, I mean, there's something like 400,000 registered users on that, and then of course, so that's been around for 15 years now. But I think that the one thing maybe people don't quite understand is that there needs to be an advocate for the open source product, and the
Yes.
Magento Association is that advocate that helps and puts some pressure back to Adobe to say, hey, we have this vibrant community. We have a community that's around the open source product, and we believe,
Yep.
you as a developer, you should certainly join Magento Association.
Absolutely. And there was at point of time there was conversation about forking it and giving the whole open source to associations. If there's no, and let's say not that that is not happening, but if that happened, we need an organization or association that advocates and that takes care of open source, because that's a sizable community that we're talking about, and we need to make sure that that stays alive and that grows and that flourishes.
That's perfect. Ravi, as we close out, I give everybody a chance to do a shameless plug about anything you'd like to plug. What would you like to shamelessly plug today?
I'm not a sales guy, by the way, by no shape or form. I don't have salespeople in the organization for that matter, right? So I mean, I'm more a natural, organic kind of guy. So the farthest I can go being shameless in this pitch is that, yeah, just attend Meet Magento Florida, which is the next event that is coming. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of learning, and a lot of excitement. We are looking forward to it. There will be some new components to this conference. Just the way last year we added workshop by masters. We are planning right now to make it even more bigger and more meaningful for people who are attending conference. So just for your own sake, come and attend the conference and come and contribute to that.
Yeah, and I will say it is such a fun conference. I've been every year now, and I would also encourage people to join or to come in and attend Meet Magento Florida.
Yeah.
Ravi Mittal is the CEO founder of Rave Digital and the Headworks, or you run Headworks. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Brent. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the show. It's Magento New York. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's rock. Feel the excitement. Ready to explore. Oh yeah. All right. Let's go. Yeah. Meet Magento. Come on in. It's time to shine. Magento magic's feeling fine. Oh yeah, Magento
Talk Commerce is a production of Content Basis, LLC. For more creative content, go to contentbasis.io.